Hello everyone, my name is Roger Trouillard. I'm very happy to meet you on this video to present the GMFT software, which is a tool to help table football organizers to manage their competition. First of all, we need to find GMFT on internet to download it on PC. So let's go on a search engine like Google, Bing, or whatever you want. Just type GMFT and look forward on Facebook link. So here is the link on the Facebook page for GMFT. Just click on it. So here is the page. You will find on this page some articles and you can find also a presentation just here. I propose you to read this presentation, this short presentation, which presents you all the features of GMFT. So you can click on an article like this one. Each month I publish the GMFT with already imported world ranking data. And you can click on this kind of article and you will show different type of links. There is two places, main places where you can find GMFT. First is the Fistif website, and the second one is the Google Drive, my personal Google Drive. So on Fistif website, you have a direct link here. You can click on it and you can have the page, and you just have to click on the download button. On Google Drive, you have also direct link on for different versions of GMFT. All one, for example, here can be used for all Excel software, like Excel 2003 or Excel 95 also. And you have also the GMFT repository here, where you can find different versions of GMFT, but also some different kind of GMFTs with Swiss system or championship formula or directed playoff. You can try also. And all the Fistif world ranking since some years, and also Fistif models to be used with GMFT, especially to send results after your competitions. Okay, so now we just have to download the software. For example, here, right click on the link and choose download menu. So Google will scan for viruses and propose you to download the file. So we will go to the GMFT tutorial directory here. We will put the zip file. Good. Now we will go to the directory here. So we can find here the file. So we just have to right click again and choose, for example, to extract here. And a directory is simply created in which we will find all the files useful to use all features of GMFT. Okay, so now go to the directory where you can find the Excel file of GMFT, the main program, in fact, you will use, and other directories useful for different features of GMFT. The presentation of this different directory will be done later. So now it's time to go inside GMFT. So just double click on the file, it starts Excel. For the first time, you will have a button here which asks you to activate the file. So just click on this button. So when you start GMFT, you will have always this small screen which remind what is GMFT, and which show the version you are using, and a disclaimer, of course. So just click on this screen to hide it, and you will have also a pop-up window that reminds that GMFT use manual calculation for performance purposes. So we will have a focus on this particular subject before present GMFT and how to use it. What is the difference between manual and automatic calculation? In GMFT, you have a menu, a specific menu, which show you that here we are in manual calculation. By clicking on this button, you can change to automatic calculation and go back again to manual calculation. So by default, GMFT put manual calculation each time you use functions in GMFT. So what is the difference between manual and automatic calculation? To show it, I just open a new file, and here I put a value, and here I put just a simple formula, which is the same value normally as this one. So if I change the value, you see that here the value has not changed. So this is because we are in manual calculation. I go back to GMFT and I can click on it to switch to automatic calculation. So if I go back to my file, so you can see that the value has changed. But if I change again, you can see that the value changed automatically. So this is normally the normal way Excel is used. So if I go back to manual calculation, here again, if I type 9, so no change has been made. So this can be confusing for you sometimes in GMFT. So what is important to know is that the key F9 could be used always to tell Excel to make the calculation. So if I put an F9 key, the calculation is automatically done. This is very important for you to keep in mind that you have to use the key F9 to tell Excel to make the computation of the calculation. So if you have any doubt on the data in GMFT, so you may have this reflex, type the key F9. So now we go back to GMFT. First, I would like to present the system of menus inside GMFT. As you can see, the menu has been implemented in the ribbon system of Excel. So since the version 8 all features must be accessed via the ribbon system. And you can see also that the classical Excel menu in the ribbon has been replaced by this one, a small menu with only the GMFT menu, but the file menu has been preserved. You can retrieve the classical Excel ribbon by clicking on this icon, like this, and you will have access to all standard features of Excel. But in this menu, you still have the GMFT menu that you can retrieve, and you can also click again on this icon to retrieve the start menu of GMFT. Now it's time to show you how it's very simple to create an event. So first, you need to know that there are some data inside GMFT when you download it: license, clubs, ranking, world ranking for players and teams. So you can see here all the festive license automatically imported into GMFT. The same for clubs, the ranking for each categories, and the ranking of teams also. So all this data will be very useful to fill in the GMFT with all players and all correct data for each players and teams. To create the event, we don't need all these data. We will just use them. So we will hide these 4 sheets, these database sheets, in fact. Good. So the first things to do is to register the players. We click on the check-in worksheet to register players. And here you can see that we have access to all licensed players, the 4,000 players inside Festive. And we will have to fill some informations, participations to the different events, and and the registration for referee also. There is a tool to help to fill this data here. So I will fill the players of the top ranking of this month for the 4 category: open, veteran, ladies, and under 19 for the number 1 and number 2. As you can see here, these players are there: Mr. Colangelo, Mr. Montagno, Mrs. Herbeau, Mr. Balzan, Mr. Flores, Mr. Chin, Mrs. Garnier, sorry, and Mr. Reru. So to find Mr. Colangelo, I just have to begin to type his name, and the help will give me the full name, the correct full name. And I just have to tell that he will be a referee and he will play open. And I can do it for all other people: Mr. Antonio Montagno, Mrs. Herbeau, Mr. Jürgen Balzan, Mr. Carlos Flores, Mr. Daniel Shin, Mrs. Stéphanie Garnier, and Mr. Maxime Reroux. Good. So here you can see that all the people have been filled, and you just have to validate the registration. And now we are ready to create the event. To create the event, we just have to go back on the home worksheet, like this, and to choose this button, for example, to have an official formula for 8 players. So here we can fill the name of the event. For example, my first event. Be careful to not fill any blank in the name. The category is open. We have 8 players, and we choose to play this competition with a group of 4 players. Now the event is created. So we just have to fill the players in each group. We can use the list, as you can see here. This list is the list of registered players in the open category. But we can use also this feature of this great feature of GMFT, which is the draw system. In this draw system, all players registered in the category concerned by the event are sorted by rank, world ranking, in fact. So we can ask GMFT to fill the first seeds, and after to manually draw each position by clicking on this button, like this again, and also to ask to GMFT to fill the empty cells, the to be drawn cells, to finish the draw. So sometimes the draw is not correct, so we can cancel all the draw and ask. And you can see that here the update is not made, so we just have to use the key F9 to update. That's it. And we can ask again to fill the first seeds and make the overall draw. Sometimes we may have, for example, like this configuration, some conflicts, so you can change here manually by numbers to solve and to put the key F9 and to solve the conflicts of clubs. So once the draw is done, you can validate the draw by clicking on this button, and this action will update the sheet of the event, like you can see here. Okay, Now we have to plan the competition. So we go to the planning worksheet, and you can see that the matches have been placed in different sessions of the planning. So in this example, we can't have only 3 sessions in the group phase because we will not have enough referee for each match. So we have to use more than 3 sessions. So we can move matches from different sessions. So here I can insert a session before the old one, and I select the 2 matches, and then I move these 2 matches in the next session, and I can repeat this operation for the others like this and like this. Good. So now we have all the session needed for the competition, and we can now ask GMFT to select randomly referee for each match. So here you have a screen to complete some criteria to exclude some players from refereeing. For example, in competition, we can exclude young people to be referee, like under 12 or under 15. We can exclude also head referees from refereeing to be available to manage conflicts. And we have also a number of refereeing referee matches to exclude also some players who have referee many times. So for the first time, I validate, and GMFT select these 2 players as referee. So we can do the same, for the next station. Good. For example, if GMFT, we can switch referee from 2 matches, as you can see here. And you can see that here is the bullet is not green. This is because Jürgen Balzan and Stéphanie Garnier have the same club. So in this case, you can select these 2 referees and switch their matches. And again, we have green bullet, and that it's good. And we can continue to ask GMFT to assign referee like this, like this. Good. Like this again. So here you can see that GMFT has not successfully find referees, players to be referee. This is because all players have referee 1 time. So we must exclude players who have referee more than 1 time. So for example, 2, we validate. And here you have the new referees. And again for the last session in group phase. Now we are ready to begin the competition. But first of all, we need to save this file for the competition. Save as, and for example, you can type my first event, save. During the competition, you will just have to fill the scores in the planning sheet. So let's fill the score. For example, 1, 2, 1, 1. And at each session, you can validate the scores. So this feature will copy this data inside the corresponding event sheet. So here you can see that the score has been copied. The ranking in the group is updated. And also the timetable and the referees data are copied. And of course, you can see here that depending on the current ranking, so we have the qualified players, and here we have a perfect equality, so we can't define who is qualified. So this is why you have this sentence level. So we continue to fill the scores. So just completely random scores. That's it. And now we can validate not only the current session as by default, but the whole planning, in fact, by clicking on yes. That's it. So now we can see that here the semi-finalists are defined, and we will be able to fill the score for this new session. Of course, data are clearly copied in the event sheet. So let's fill the scores. For example, and we validate the session. Oh, so we forgot to define a referee, sorry. So we copy to invalidate the scores, and we can ask here GMFT to assign referees. So coming back to the criteria 2 here, to be sure that every player has referee the same number of matches. So only one player is available with this criteria, so we can add one to this criteria to choose another referee. Good. So now we have the referee, we have the score, we can validate the scores. Good. But as you can see, there is an error in score here. This is normal because for match and elimination phases, we can't have draw. So we need to correct this mistake. So to do this, we copy scores again to invalidate the lines of this session, and we can correct by this kind of update, for example, or with scores in different goals and penalties, and we validate again. Okay, so now we have a final between ladies, a good things, and we can also choose a referee. Don't forget to come back to 2 to be sure that there is no people who has a referee only one time. Yes, so Mr. Jürgen will be a referee for this final, and we can put the score of the final and validate validate the score. So that's it. So the competition is finished, and now we can make some exports, some reports of the competition. Once your competition is finished, you can make some reports or exports to FISTIF, for example. So you can click on this icon to produce a typical result, and you can specify which session you want to export. So for example, the session 1 to 8, just validate, and you can choose the name of the result file, which is in fact an Excel file. So I choose the result name, save. So you obtain this kind of file with all the matches and all the group ranking also. So the idea is to print this file or to save it as a PDF file. So you can choose to save as and choose the option PDF and to produce the result PDF file. So I did it before, so I just have to confirm to replace this file. And here is the final result, full results of your competition for all categories in your files, of course. A second feature is also the ability to export to FISTIF. This is an important feature, in fact, which may help you to produce this file and to send it very quickly to FISTIF board. So you have to choose the FISTIF template, which is in this directory provided inside the GMFT zip file. So you choose this one, FISTIF event version, and you choose also the name of the file you want to send to the FISTIF. So I choose before this kind of name, my event FISTIF results. Okay. And the GMFT will fill for you all the file, and you have just to send it to FISTIF with just some clicks. So now this is the end of this first video. I hope you enjoyed to see this video. I will produce other videos to show in details all the features of GMFT, because in this video we have just seen only 10 or 20%, I would say 10% of the features of GMFT. So I hope to meet you on the next videos, and I hope you will enjoy to use GMFT. Bye bye and see you soon.